up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and this is a film that I have seen. In fact, I saw it in the theaters years ago, but I decided to watch it again. I am here to review I Am Legend. I Am Legend is a 2007 film that was directed by Francis Lawrence, and the plot is we follow Will Smith as Robert Neville. He is in the midst of an apocalypse. I'm tempted to say zombie apocalypse. We can debate on whether or not these are zombies in a bit. He plays a doctor who is trying to solve this problem. He's trying to find a cure to the apocalypse, to this virus that has made everybody sick. In fact, it's fascinating at the beginning to see, especially given the current times that we live in, that this whole situation in this movie started by the government creating a vaccine and them thinking that they can cure cancer or that they can cure whatever disease you have to. Of course, thousands, if not millions of people took this vaccine, and so it wasn't the sickness or the disease or a virus that turned everybody into what they are. It was the vaccine that mutated people, that turned them into flesh-eating whatever they are. And so, like I said, Will Smith he's surviving. He's alone with his dog in New York trying to make this happen. This film is crazy. I think it has an amazing premise, and I think Will Smith is really good in this movie. I really enjoy the film. I do. I think it's near perfect as far as the execution, as far as the tone, as far as what Will Smith in general is putting into this. Because at this point, he was still Mr. July 4th or like big blockbuster summer hit guy. And I think he brought a lot of that star power with this movie, but I think he also showed a side of his acting that was there and we've seen here and there, but he really dives into the dramatic stuff here. I think there are scenes where he breaks your heart, where he could bring you to tears, the loneliness that he feels. I mean, we're talking about a couple of years of this guy being alone, not having another human to interact with. And so it's heartbreaking, it's sad, it's tragic, and seeing the daily routines that he has with his dog as far as making supplies, trying to hunt for meat. I love the relationship he has with his dog, Sam. I mean, I don't think I've cared more for a dog than I did in this movie. I'm not really a dog person. I don't care for dogs all that much. Like in real life, I'm just sort of like, no thanks. But this might be one of the first movies where I was like, man, if I had a dog this loyal, I don't know, I could probably do it. Like, I could deal with all the baggage and other stuff, because this dog is a scene stealer. This dog has so many great moments, and what happens with that relationship, again, heartbreaking throughout this whole film. And also there's a scene where I was talking about Will Smith and his acting. There's a scene where Will Smith is so alone, he goes to the same shop where he sort of like checks out movies because, well, there's nobody else there to do it. You can take him home and watch them, why not? But he has set up mannequins with outfits, and he's named them so he can sort of pretend like things are kind of normal, but you can tell it's kind of crazy. And he wants to say hello to one female mannequin in particular, but clearly it's not going to talk back, and he just breaks down, crying, begging for it to say hello back to him. I mean, that's a scene that I can reference as, where's this dude's at least nomination? But of course he didn't get that. The infected people, I guess we should talk about it. I'm clearly trying to avoid it. I do like how, unlike most zombie or infected people movies, that this has a situation where the infected can't be in sunlight because the light burns them, And so you get a lot of those scenes of Will and his dog just out there and just doing things. It's not all about running from infected or running from the typical zombie stuff that you've seen before. But the zombies, or I keep calling them zombies because I don't know what else. Are they vampires? Because when they come into the sunlight, they burn. Their skin burns. They can't survive it. So that's where it's like, well, maybe they're vampires. They infect people through bites, but Will Smith is immune, so I like that little twist. It sort of explains that. It makes it more plausible that he could survive this long because, well, if he does get bit, when he does get bit, he's not going to change, so he's fine in that way. But the biggest problem, though, is the CGI. The CGI for these creatures or for these infected are terrible. It is. It's terrible. And it's not just me, in retrospect, in our current year, going back and saying, oh, wow, this doesn't hold up. Honestly, at the time when I saw this in theaters, I thought, yeah, this doesn't hold up. Or this at the time didn't look good, the CGI. It looks fake. It looks like a video game. It's hard for me to get as invested in the threat when it just looks like a bunch of running, no bone, wobbly type things running around. I don't know. If it wasn't for everything else that I mentioned, that I praised earlier, especially Will Smith's acting, I probably wouldn't be able to go along with this as much as I do, because I really do think that the CGI hurts these creatures and their impact as much as it does, at least for me. How can I not mention this? This is something that I didn't notice until a few years ago when people started to talk about it. There is a Batman vs. Superman Easter egg at the very beginning. It's not like I'm probably telling you something you already know, but the shot when he's just in Times Square walking around, there's a billboard of a logo of Batman and Superman, and I want to mention that because it's so bizarre that in 2007, Warner Brothers, who also produced this film, they were so convinced that they were going to have a Batman vs. Superman movie out by this point. I think the film even takes place in 2012, I think. They were so convinced that because they were already trying to make it, that it would be made around that time. It's so bizarre that it took, obviously, a few more years after that. But it's kind of cool. Honestly, it'd be cool if they did that kind of stuff more often. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Also, the ending, I'm not going to get too specific with the ending. I know that there are two different endings. The regular theatrical ending I don't love. I remember in the theater being really annoyed by the ending and being really like just I don't know, it just didn't sit well with me. I get what they were doing. It certainly works well with the title and everything. And I guess like rewatching it now, I was a little more okay with it. But the alternate ending, I'm certainly more of a fan of. And I'm just like, man, if I do go back and rewatch this anytime soon, it's the alternate ending that I would prefer to watch. So guys, let me know in the comments below if you too have seen I Am Legend. What do you think of it? Do you like it? Do you love it? Is this one of Will Smith's best movies? I'm sure that might be too much of a high praise. You don't hear as many people talk about this anymore. But I do think it's a good movie. I do think it's worth it. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!
Heat in my vein like vernacular. Cook up the beat with a spatula. Y'all are not ready for action. I'm smoking these rappers and feeling spectacular. Making it killing like massacre. Watch out, I'm whipping my wrist. Right on my city, been pissed, but I show them love. I'm not the one that's at risk. My homie told me that when people rise up against you, it's a sign of your destiny real. Fake ones been hating cause they know that one day you're making it. Jealousy's all they can feel. Plug in the phone, drift in my zone.